a direct hit. Helene wasn't even a direct hit, but it was the ideal setup for wind into the bay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have looks like we got an agenda. So I'll call it 5:32. We'll call the meeting to order. Are we recording? Raquel, are we hit record?
Yes, we're all set.
Okay, great. Public comment, any public?
Katie Stein from Board of Finance is on. But I think she's all set.
Okay, thanks, Katie. Raise your hand if you want to join. Item number 3, approval of prior minutes, September 16th, 2024. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the
Oh,
minutes?
sure. I'll make that motion.
Hey, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to old business, none, new business, architects report. Justin, if you'd
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the building committee. Fairly mild report for this meeting. Incidentally, joining me tonight, Tim Mayu, who may have been on some past building committee calls. Tim's a project architect for Tecton and also a licensed building official in the state of Connecticut. So he's been a tremendous asset to the Tecton team and the overall design team, especially when considering code related items or questions that come up in the field. The project team continues to address RFIs, submittals, etc., and working closely with Colliers and Gilbane to provide responses. So nothing really earth-shattering to report in that regard. The only other thing that I'll mention is that we have continued to have some focus meetings regarding updates of FF&E, IT, /AV, and playgrounds. So we are quickly pulling together project budgets and project items with the intent during the month of November to be seeking or at least socializing the project budgets and the plans for all the necessary boards in town that require approval. The intent is to hopefully go for a PCR review during the month of December, and we're well on our way. So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
think we're good. Moving on to CM report.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we continue full steam ahead. I'll share my screen in a moment to show you kind of a new technology that we're using. So previously we were using the drone because we had a lot of the foundation and steel work going on. Now that we're kind of moving into interior, we started new walks to capture progress. So we have a program called Open Space. And what we do is sometimes a little more than once a week, we'll walk the job and it'll actually record kind of our progress as you walk the same spot. So it'll give you a time lapse over time where you can pick a spot on the drawing and then see that progress through the time lapse feature. But I think it'll be beneficial. I think the committee will appreciate it because it'll give you a nice kind of snapshot of what's in the building now. So I'll share that in a moment. Outside of that, we just keep pushing along with trying to close out submittals. We're into our final almost like finish selections for the submittal. So we're down at the kind of on the downward trend there, down to the last probably 5% of that. And then we're actually transitioning into closeout with submittal. So we're starting to get in O&Ms, sample warranties, and items like that. So that's kind of the big push on the administrative side. And then we just keep running in the field. So hopefully, you can see my screen now.
Yep, perfect.
So where I am standing is I'm standing on upper level B. This is the high roof, so I'm actually pretty close to. This is actually on the mezzanine, so this is where that DOAS unit's going to be landed. We're looking through what's going to eventually be the gym. What's going to be a CMU wall, and then this is going to be the open area down to the cafeteria. So we're looking west towards Mungertown Road. And what you kind of can get a feel is just a couple weeks ago, we were showing steel complete and starting exterior framing. We're cruising right along with the exterior framing, and we've actually started interior framing. So looking at you're seeing a bunch of material going up in place. You can see we're starting to do roof drains. So we're piping in the roof drains to get the roof tied in and the water captured so it doesn't go in the building. You can see we framed out this section of exterior walls up here. So this is going to be call wall and translucent paneling up here to let the light in down to these open areas into the cafeteria. And then this kind of main area A corridor. And then what we're actually seeing back here is this is the exterior wall for the courtyard. So we're looking at the east side of the courtyard through this photo. And you can see that we have that framed in sheaths and getting ready to do the AWB. And so we'll be ready for brick on that as well. I don't have a drone photo for this month, but what you can see, we're basically to this transition here, to this section of the building here with the roof. So the roof, if I was gonna, you can kind of see here where I'm standing. Here back is done with the roof, sort of substantially complete. So we have insulation and TPO on the roof. The roof drains are connected, and we have the roofing overlapped over the edge of the building, so we can start tying it into the AWB. So our big push right now is to try to get this kind of skin on in the next couple months. So the roof, exterior insulation, exterior wall systems, and the glass and glazing. So if we can push that and have that done at the end of the year, it really helps us transition nicely to like actual finishes inside. Because at some point in the next couple months, we'll hit a constraint where we would need that stuff done to come in and finish the building. So, but overall, we're right on where we want to be. This is actually a stairwell here, so you can see we built the stair. It's a little hard to see, but there's actual stair installed in this. So the stairwell shaft is complete. The stair is installed, and we actually placed the concrete for the stair. So the landings and risers are actually concrete. So this is opened up for our construction use to be able to access floor to floor. Over on this side, the same thing. This is a stairwell that's complete with the actual stair installed, concrete complete. And you can see we're starting to build out this mechanical space here. What's important about this is if we went down a floor to the lower level, that's the fire pump room, electrical room, and the shipping and receiving room. So this is kind of pretty important part of the building for as far as bringing utilities in and starting to get the building up and running. So there was good progress there. And then lastly, you can sort of see from this elevation that we're getting ready to do the slab on grade in this lower B. The piping and underground work is basically substantially complete. You can sort of see the white pipes and all this piping in place as it wraps around for the bathrooms and different utilities, different locations. And we're getting to the point now where we're basically backfilling all this and getting it ready for the slab. And that continues right around to down here in the cafeteria. Cafeteria, we're actually farther ahead because we have some stone in. And these pipes here are actually the under slab drainage system that's called for in the cafeteria. So there's an under slab drainage system under the majority of the cafeteria area that's installed with the stone. And we'll continue prepping and getting ready for concrete. The week of the 14th, we're trying to do both. We're going to split lower B into 2 concrete pours. We're trying to do them both the week of 9/14 next week. Or 10/14, I guess, at this point. Month. But we'll try to get both of these hopefully, and that'll basically bring us to substantially complete with the slabs. You can't really see it here, but we actually see if I can walk. This is the gym slab here. So the gym is actually complete at this point. So we did one section of the lower level slab, and right underneath the mezzanine, the platform, the raised platform area, that's done as well. And we have to come out with 2 more pours just to wrap and surround the gym and the platform. So a lot of progress. You can even see here we have a lot of the exterior framed along B. we're sheathing. You can kind of see our flow. We're going to keep going with the sheathing right around, heading towards the south, and then we'll wrap over here and actually finish on the south elevation. So just keep going as fast as we can. A little bit with the weather today with the rain. Obviously, we didn't roof today, and some of the exterior work with the AWB we couldn't do, but it looks like it's not a rainy pattern settling in here, so we'll be right back at it. Basically been working couple Saturdays in a row. We'll probably keep working pretty much every Saturday moving forward, just trying to give us a little cushion and grab as much as we can as quickly as we can. And that's it for today.
Great. Thanks, Robert. Any questions for Robert?
Fabulous. Gee, wow.
Looks like a building, huh, Woody?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Excellent. Well done.
I tried flying the drone through there last week, but I kept hitting the template. So Rob said, let's go to a different program. But
Is that a third
as
party?
always,
Is that a third party product, or you guys just have that in-house?
it's a third party.
We do the walk, so we don't bring someone out. Like, we bring someone out to fly the drones.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
I know. Yeah, I know they. Okay, but the internal stuff that's your in-house
Yeah.
camera.
And as always, if anyone wants to come by for a tour through the building, through the site, just give us a heads up. Come on by. More than flexible.
Excellent. Moving on to the next item, OPM. Adam, it's hard to top that.
I know, like I said, we gotta switch that order up. Rob always, we don't bury the lead on the graphics here. So the two updates I wanted to kind of share, in addition to obviously everything that Rob and Justin had mentioned, we are looking at the front sidewalk. We had a good sidewalk the end of last week. If you recall, there was an item raised through a neighbor meeting about having a sidewalk along Mungertown Road, just along the school site. And that was an alternate that was put into the original GMP bids, but ultimately not accepted at the time of GMP to kind of defer and see how the project shook out and what that configuration might be. So the project team is working on kind of outlining what the next steps would be based on what we discussed in the field in terms of what the sidewalk out there might look like, and kind of drill it down to the point where the town can make some decision about what the front of the building looks like for that stone wall that's, you know, a little bit crumbly, and some of the trees and the brush and that kind of thing. So that's forthcoming, but just wanted to report back that discussion is ongoing. And then the other item to expound on Justin's point about some of the furniture focus group meetings. And when I say furniture, we mean not just furniture, but the AV components, the IT components, and then also the final playground design and package. So as Justin alluded to, we're drilling down into what the final sort of budgetary values will be, and seeing where there are pluses and minuses across those packages. The key thing to keep this group in mind in terms of just kind of like projecting out a bit for schedule is later on in October, the intention is to have a sort of a regroup meeting at a very high level with not just the SBC, but also like to target the school, the Board of Education and Board of Selectmen, just to kind of refresh everybody's minds as to what the packages are, what the approvals will be needed for Board of Selectmen, kind of the budgetary range, that kind of thing. Ultimately looking for starting to get approvals from this group and the Board of Education, likely in November. The AVIT package is currently being targeted to go first, so to speak, so we can get some of that procurement done and get that out the door. And then the furniture and playground packages to follow. We're looking at some December approvals from this group at that point. Based on the timing and when we might be able to schedule meetings with the state grant office, there might be a need to kind of jockey around some of the meeting times and maybe have some special meetings. So like we've done the entire project, I'll keep you all on the post and I'll keep you all posted and let everyone know what the thinking is. But again, just wanted to put that in the back of your minds for right now, and then I'll start publishing out some draft schedules and and some backup budgetary information once that gets a little more coalesced over the next couple weeks. Any questions on any of that? But otherwise, just sort of a again, high level for right now. Nope. Okay. Very good.
Next
Sure.
item, number 5.
So the only items up for vote tonight, we'll do the invoice packet at the next meeting, are the 2 procurement items. I'll start with the simpler of the 2, which is the change order for Gilbane. I'll put that on the screen right now. So you should be able to see the both the draft motions and the change order here. So it's ATP 37, the amount of $5,522. And it is for something that came up while the water line was being installed. There was a request from MDC to put in additional chlorination inlet just because of the length of the run. So it's something that got coordinated at the request of the water service provider. So to install that was that $5,500 sum. Any questions on this one?
Nope, it's pure betterment, right? Obviously.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's just something that came up while talking with MDC. And then the second item is the result of the going out to bid for the remainder of the envelope testing. If you recall, a meeting or 2 ago, I think there was a change order to award some of the more time-sensitive and coordination-heavy testing to the commissioning agent, Salas O'Brien. But the rest of the testing wanted to go out for public bid just due to the value and ensure that we're getting appropriate pricing for those items. Bids came in. When I say bids, I mean bid because Salas was the only one that responded. It was on the town website and with the state, and it was advertised and all that. I did check their pricing against similar testing pricing that was received within the past 2 years. All of it appears to be competitive, if not some cases a little better than some prior pricing that has been received for similar testing. So at this point, I don't have any qualms or reservations about the potential of award of these testing components to Salas O'Brien BVH. And just, I probably should start off with, this is for the remainder of the envelope testing, such as our blower door testing at the end of construction, or at the end of the envelope, I should say, doing the spray testing and water testing at the curtain walls and the skylights and all that kind of envelope testing that's called out for by the specifications. So the total value for that is $35,500.
Yeah, so we're ready to make a motion. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll read it. I'd like to make a motion to approve the ATP 37 for the change to Gilbane's existing construction contract in the amount of $5,522 for an additional chlorination inlet at the new water line per Connecticut water requirements.
Do we have a second?
I think Woody did it, Graham.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I
was
didn't hear you.
Muted. Yeah. I'll second it. I apologize.
Sorry, I was, my screen view didn't have you on one of the window wasn't open. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I'll reshare so we can see.
I'd like to make a motion to award the work for building envelope testing services to Salas O'Brien in the amount of $35,500 per their proposal dated 9/24/24.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
I will say, just as a final closing point, I forgot to mention the envelope testing. I will work with town finance. That'll get pulled from contingency just to make sure that that budget is right. However, in the upcoming week or so, I plan to provide one of the standard financial updates to the committee. And as part of that, propose some cleanup of some of the outstanding budgetary items that will probably not be needed. So for example, there's still a sizable chunk of money in printing available and advertising, where we're just not going to need those sums. And these are, 5 figures each in some cases. So you'll all have that update, but just from the standpoint of understanding where that approval will get drawn from financially.
Got it. Thank you. Moving on to number 6, public comment. Raquel, anyone have their hand raised?
No.
Moving on to number 7, remarks. Any questions, comments, concerns? Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I will.
Have a second? Woody, keep it up, keep the streak up.
Sure. Absolutely.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Easy, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.